Hi everyone, this is Anna from the Livingston Public Library with a new origami video. Our theme for summer reading this year is Imagine Your Story. Now, if you've not signed up for summer reading yet, pause this video right now and head to livingstonlibrary.org to sign up. There are summer reading challenges for kids, teens, adults, and even babies. Now, back to origami. To fit in with our summer reading theme, our first origami video of the summer is a dragon. This is an intermediate shape. Elements of the dragon are similar to the crane. Maybe you can notice the similarities, but obviously this one is a bit more difficult. So if you haven't mastered the crane yet, head back to Livingston Public Library's YouTube channel and search for my video called Origami Crane. For those of you ready for the challenge of the origami dragon, let's get started. All right, so I used a green piece of paper for my dragon, and we're going to start by folding it into a rectangle so that the color is on the outside. And I'm just going to make sure my edges are perfectly lined up, and I don't see the white on this side either. So now I'm going to unfold and fold into a rectangle the other way. So this rectangle will have a line going down the middle from our first fold. And then we're going to unfold again, and now you should have 1, 2, 3, 4 boxes. So now we're going to flip over and fold into a triangle so that the white side is on the outside and the color side is on the inside. And now we're going to unfold and fold into a triangle the other way. So again, this triangle should have a line going down the middle from your first triangle fold. And then we're going to unfold, and you can sort of see these diamond shapes. 4 diamonds, 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to squash fold so that only 1 diamond is visible on each side. Let me unfold a little bit so you can see again what we did. We used the folds or the guidelines that we created so that we could squash folds into this little diamond. Now you want to make sure that your edges are creased and your open side is on the bottom, as I have here. Now we're going to take that left corner, only the top layer, and we're going to fold it into that center line as such, using that bottom point as a guiding point for the center line. And we'll take the right side, and again, only the top layer, the bottom layer is still down flat. And we're going to fold in so that we have like a kite shape on top. And if you've done the crane or other origami shapes, this probably looks familiar to you. And so I'm sure you can guess what we're going to do next. Once we get this crease nice and flat. Oops, I need to go back and adjust my folds. It is important to get these as lined up as possible. A mistake in the beginning will mess you up later on. And we're going to take the top point and we're going to fold it down over the top parts of our folds we just created, so we have a line. We're going to unfold those flaps, and now we're going to invert those folds. And once again, I just need to go back and just flatten out so that we have some nice creases. And now I have a long kite shape, or a long diamond shape, depending on how you look at it. And then, yep, we are going to flip over and do the same thing on the other side. Getting those creases nice and flat, we're going to reverse fold that top flap, and then we're going to invert fold again so that we have our long kite or long diamond shape. And you can see the little diamond part inside, and we're going to fold down those two flaps we just created. So we're back to our kite shape. And we're going to take this top point and we're going to fold it down to that line between the left and right corners that we created. Make sure the point lines up with the both center lines so that you know it is nice, straight, and even. And then we're just going to reverse fold to make sure that crease is nice and deep. We're going to need that crease in a second. And now we're going to unfold that and unfold everything. I know, but we are making progress. Now you'll see two squares here. We're going to use the square we just created, the smaller square. And we're going to again, press those creases so the rest of the paper is going down. We are going for a squash fold here. And I always need to do a little bit of finagling to get squash folds like this. But as you can see, we are pushing down in the center so that the paper goes down on the inside and everything else goes down outside. That actually went pretty good for me. You want to make sure all the flaps are folded in. And let's see, my inside paper didn't get quite flat, so I'm going in to get that straightened out. But your shape should look like this. If you need to fold in any flaps, go ahead and fold in those flaps. And now we're going to take the top layer, these little corners on the top, and between the point and the center line, we're going to fold them in. So it's a bit of a diagonal, like this. And then we're going to do the same on the right side between that right corner and the top center line. And now we're going to reverse and do the same thing on the other side. Get these down nice and flat. And we're going to do the right side now. All right, we're going to lift up these flaps on both sides now. What we just did was we created a bit of room so that we can get on with making our dragon. So now we're going to take this top flap and we're going to fold it along that center line to the left, using that right point as a guiding point and the center line as a guiding line. Get this nice and flat. We're going to unfold and now do the same thing the other way. And so we are creating some guidelines. Now we're going to unfold, and we're going to use those guidelines we just created as such. So it will be, the shape will be sticking up a bit, and we're going to make sure it's nice and even, and then fold it off to one side. And now we're going to do the same thing on this side. Reverse fold. And now we'll unfold and use those two guidelines to fold in the two sides so this sort of sticks up. And whichever way you fold it down, just make sure this little flap is going the same way as the opposite side. And as you can start to see, those will be our wings in a bit. But now let's get started on the head and the tail. So we're going to take the one side opposite of the wings, fold it up, fold it reverse as such. Get a nice crease there. Unfold, and now we're going to open it up as shown here, and we're going to reverse fold and invert. All right, looking pretty good. And now the tricky part, we need to pull this so it's down flat and it is parallel with the bottom line of our body. So as you can see, I have my right fingers there so it doesn't completely undo itself. And I need to pull this so it goes right to the center fold. And you'll have some paper folded inside. Looks a bit like an alligator head now. And I'm just flattening everything out. It'll look like this. And now more inverse folding. We're going to take this top side here, only the top flap, and we are going to invert fold so that it is parallel with the bottom line of this, this head part, or this could be the tail part, your choice at this point. And as you can see, some of the paper needs to be folded into the center diamond, or center triangle I should say, so that it lays flat. Mine is not quite even, so I'm going in and I'm fixing the fold. All right, now we're going to do the same thing on the other side. And don't worry if it's a little tricky, just take your time. One of the keys to success with origami is patience and getting those creases and folds just right. Oh, and once again, mine didn't come out quite even, so I'm going back and I am adjusting. All right. Once you're happy with how that looks, we're going to reverse our wings, or what will become our wings, And we're going to do the same exact thing to the other side. So fold up, unfold and reverse fold, get a nice crease, open up this side and invert fold that triangle. We're going to flatten it out. Now the tricky part, we're going to pull this down. Oops, it's trying to come all undone. But as you can see, I'm holding in those center parts and pulling this bottom crease where you can see the other side of the paper a bit, so that that comes right to the center point. And I'm trying to get it even with the body, the bottom part of the body. Again, looks to me like a little bit of an alligator head right now. Maybe it's just because I used the green paper. But now we're going to take the top layer here, and again, we're going to invert, fold down so that it is even with the bottom line of this, what will become either your tail or your head. Once you get that even, do the other side, inverting and folding down. And now it's time for our dragon to take shape. So I'm going to fold back these wings. And first we're going to make these into our wings. So we need to fold them up using that center point as your guiding point. And you want on the right side there, you want it to be not even with your center body. You want it to be a little bit forward of that. There really are no mistakes with how you angle the wings. You just want to make sure they're even on both sides. This is just an approximate angle here. You can go back and adjust later if you want your dragon's wings to sit a bit differently. And now I'm going to work on the head. And since we've done the wings, we know which side the head needs to be on. And we're going to take this one side, and you guessed it, we are going to invert, fold it up. A lot of invert folds with this shape. You don't want it exactly straight up. I think it looks a little bit better if it's angled a bit forward ever so slightly. And I'm just going through and evening out the creases. And then we're going to decide where you want the head. We're going to do an invert fold there. Do a little bit more than you think you need. Now right now this is looking sort of like a crane head, but what we're going to do is a little bit more than halfway. We are going to fold this back a bit. And you want this point to come past the back of the head a little bit, so that when it all comes together, it looks like dragon ears or a dragon horn or whatever you think that little point looks like. There you have it, your dragon head. Now let's work on the feet a little bit. So we're going to take this front foot and we're going to fold it straight back as much as it can go without ripping it. And then you're going to hold the tiniest bit of the widest part and you're going to fold forward and slightly down. And what this angle and leaving a little bit of the widest part folded back does is it gives the feet some width to stick out to help hold your dragon standing upright when it's on a table. So let's do the other front foot. Fold back, and again at the widest part of the base where you just folded back, keep it a little bit back and fold the rest of it forward and down. And again, the exact angle isn't that important so much as it matches on both sides. There we go. Looking like a dragon from the front. Now let's work on the back legs. So again, we're going to fold them back as much as they'll go and have them straight with the bottom of the dragon. Hold in a little bit at that widest part of the base and fold the rest of it forward and down. I'm trying to keep an eye on the front foot so the angle is similar. I might not get it exactly the same, but that's all right. It's going to look like this, and we're going to have one more leg to do. Hold it forward, hold the tiniest bit of the widest part there, and then fold back and slightly down so that it is at the same angle as the other back leg. All right, we are almost there. Now for the tail, we're going to do some reverse folds like with the neck, but there were only 2 with the neck and we need to do 4 with the tail. So kind of mentally plan out where you want those to be. Now the first one's easy, so we're going to do the first inverse fold. When I say easy, I just mean easy for spacing. You just want it as close to the body as possible. And then once you get this nice and even, my paper's overlapping a little bit, so it's not exactly even, but that's okay. We're going to sort of mentally plan out where are our next 3 inverse folds going to go. So we have 3 more. Let's count. 1 about here, 2 about here, 3 about here. So then I'm going to grab at my mental point where I think the second fold should go. I'm going to invert down the opposite way that I just did. Flatten that out. I'm going to do the invert where I think 3 is. And finally, the last one, number 4, invert down. And there you have it, a dragon. I hope everyone had fun making these dragons. I know I did. Join us next week for our next origami video.